What's up, Cradle fans? I return to you on this day with a theory, potentially a crackpot theory, or potentially future plot points in a future book based on previous foreshadowing. You be the judge. We'll see. Alright, let's get into this. I took y'all's advice, made it full screen. I hope my audio is better. But the true badges of Sacred Valley. First of all, what are the true badges? Well, look to the right. First, we look to what Lindon finds when he's looking for his own path. He's reading up on all the myths and stuff of Sacred Valley. And he read a bunch of different things. One passage says something like, well, exactly like, it told of the heavenly guardian within Mount Samara, and how enterprising disciples of the Heaven's Glory School might earn a mark of its favor, and of the mythical true badges that amplified the power of human Madra. We're going to come back to that. Of the Oblivion Wine, which the Fallen Leaf Elders always sold a year after the opening of the Nethergate. Well, what do we know? What's true? What's not? A lot more was said here, but we look over at a Word of Will. And Will says, some of what Lindon found were real, and others were myths. Which is interesting because the mythological true badges, some are real and some are myths. Okay, that would be cool if we didn't really find anything related to any of this. But then in the next book, well, at the end of Unsouled, Yaren breaks the Ancestor's Tomb. And it takes them 7 days to get to the Transcendent Ruins, in which they are told the Transcendent Ruins rose 7 days before. Conveniently, right when Yaren broke the Ancestor's Tomb. So there's a connection between Sacred Valley and the Transcendent Ruin site. Okay? So there's a connection. Discovering the badges in the Transcendent Ruins. So Lindon gets to the top. He's asked what he wants. Well, he's eventually asked what he wants, but he finds these badges. The badges were slightly smaller than the ones from Sacred Valley, but otherwise they were practically identical. 8 badges sat within the box, each marked with a hammer, the symbol of a forger. The first row contained the badges of copper, iron, jade, and gold. That much he expected, but the second row moved from half silver to gold steel to materials he couldn't identify. One of them was a deep fiery red, and the other a blue so rich it was like a forged slice of the sky. And then we look over here. This isn't exactly pertaining to this video, but I want to throw it in here. To my Soulsmith question, I thought the hammer badge was for a forger, so why is it the cover of Soulsmith? Or am I dumb right now? In Sacred Valley, a hammer represents a forger, and only forgers can be soulsmiths. Outside of Sacred Valley, a badge with a hammer on it represents who knows, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I put this here for a couple reasons. One, this shows that the knowledge of the past has been altered in Sacred Valley. They have customs that exist now that used to mean something different before. We know that the hammer represents the creator, right? The hammer of Adriel represents creation out in the Abadan. We know that the Abadan came from Cradle in a distant past when things were different. We know that everyone in Sacred Valley wears badges. And forgers are the only ones that can do soulsmiths, or that can be a soulsmith. So they get the hammer of creation. We now know, or we know that there was a soulsmith foundry at the top of the Transcendent Ruins. Okay? They did a bunch of crazy shit pertaining to hunger Madra, which siphons away Madra. And then in the main locker, there's a box of a full set of badges. Okay? So, we've made a connection between Sacred Valley and the Transcendent Ruins. We've made a connection between the fact that old traditions have changed over time and that badges in Sacred Valley are part of their customs, an important part of their customs. Everyone wears a badge. It's an important part of life, right? Then we find these super ornate, crazy, awesome badges, a full set, in the Transcendent Ruins, where soulsmiths jacked with hunger Madra. So what could those badges be? Oh, I don't know. Let's first look at the defenses of Sacred Valley. Why is everyone a jade? Oh, I don't know. When Orthos goes there, I mean, your whole valley is broken. My power has leaked away day by day since I arrived, and now I am no higher than a jade. That feels like a boundary formation. Okay? So we look over at the other quote where the sage says, if you knew, if I traveled there to avenge him, if I traveled there, in the book those are in like italics, if I traveled there to avenge him, I would be as vulnerable as he was. Vengeance is a poor reason to allow myself to be killed by ignorant barbarians, and what good would it do? Would slaughtering jades and irons bring him back? So it's well known that if you go there, your power is siphoned down to that of an iron or a jade. Because you enter the boundary formation acts upon you, and you are weakened. What do all boundary formations have? Ward keys. All of them have ward keys, okay? And Avinash asked Will once upon a time a bunch of questions. But in those questions he asked him, is a ward key like a battery or an amplifier? No, it's a pass key that lets you walk in and out unharmed or unaffected, okay? Then we see Reagan Shen, or what Fury says Reagan Shen says, the cat has a key to crack open the Western Labyrinth. He claims he'll use it as bait, drag the Dread Gods in, and the security measures on the maze will weaken them enough for us to kill them and craft their corpses into the most powerful divine treasures the world has ever seen. Probably not the most powerful the world has ever seen, but I digress. This could be a key to enter the labyrinth. But we saw an Underlord able to enter the labyrinth using a different kind of key, using Soulfire and stuff like that, right? So, if he's going to fight them, he probably has a ward key. How did he get a ward key? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because there used to be ward keys for this place. There used to be ward keys for every person operating within a power siphoning boundary formation. You know, we know that the Dread Gods used to live there, or that used to be their home. That's where they were either imprisoned or created, right? And we know that they escaped there and that they haven't returned home. Probably because it weakens them, because it's a very, very, very powerful boundary formation. So, what could the ward keys be? Oh, I don't know. Maybe the mythical true badges that amplify the power of human Madra. Do they really amplify the power of human Madra? Or do they just keep you from having your Madra sucked away? It's right there. It's right there. Right there. Why would it amplify the power of human Madra? I don't know, because they're trying to... Ward keys might not work on non-humans, which would be ironic as hell if Reagan Shen, a sacred beast, tried to use it and it didn't work because he wasn't a human. Or maybe that's why he took human form. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure those badges are ward keys. And Lindon has 8 of them. And every time people look at his pack, they think of how interesting the things are within his pack, right? Safar Natah thinks that they're crazy interesting. And Cassius thinks they're crazy interesting. Athan thinks they're crazy interesting. But what's in his pack? Like, the Sylvan is interesting, but okay. He had... What else did he have? He just had the badges after Soulsmith. Athan thought they were interesting beforehand, but that's mainly because of the marble. So yeah, I think the true badges are ward keys to the Sacred Valley Madra Drain boundary formation. It might be more than a Madra Drain. I don't know. We know that the hunger bindings can consume more than Madra. They can assume latent authority because we know that Northstrider uses it to consume the latent authority of dragons. So the hunger bindings can consume quite a bit. So I think that has to do, these badges are going to play a bigger part later on. And he has 8 of them. So could 8 people be on their final defense team? Probably. How many we got so far? We've got Athan, we've got Yaren, we've got Mercy, we've got Lindon, Kelsa maybe, Orthos maybe, Zeal maybe, Shamiara maybe. I don't know. Who knows? That's 8, but who knows? We have room for more people on the team. But anyway, that's not the point I'm trying to make. The theory is the badges are ward keys to the boundary formation of Sacred Valley. I've drawn all the little tinfoil connections. Do you think it's plausible? Let me know in the comments. Also, let me know in the comments what other videos you would like me to create. I've got all this setup working now, so I can make them pretty quickly. So let me know. Thanks for watching.